beautiful day to be out riding. My goodness, fall has arrived and we're on the Baby Ninja, the ZX4RR. And I have a fantastic topic at hand today because there could be competition for this bike for the first time in its short lifetime, right? The ZX4RR just came out about a year ago. This is the 40th anniversary edition, of course, which has the iconic blue, white, and Kawasaki racing green colors to it. There is competition potentially coming if you want to believe the trademarks. Well, the trademarks are real, but whether the bike is coming or not from Honda is something we're going to tackle today. If Honda can make a direct competitor to this with 400 cc's or thereabouts of inline four screaming high RPM potential like this bike, I mean, bring it on. This bike sits alone and it doesn't have a class really. There's no inline fours on the market, should I say, of this displacement. Honda once upon a time had a market for the inline four that wasn't 600 plus cc's, right? And it never came to America that I'm aware. Maybe back in the day they had the 250s, back in the 90s or something, but not. There's some Trump flag truck behind us, so let's get on the road. Make sure to vote, guys. I did my early voting yesterday, so that was quite interesting. It's always a fun time, I guess you could say. Waiting until the day of, like, was that November 5th, election day? That is just crazy to me. Anyways, make sure to go out there and vote. Have a good time. Be respectful. These people are going to the beach. It's a great day for the beach. Oh yeah, I don't have a temperature gauge on here. Like, heck, I don't know. Maybe my even Grom has a temperature gauge, but the MT-09 absolutely had a temperature gauge. Is Honda going to have something that can do that without breaking the speed limit to compete against this bike? That is the question we're going to tackle today. So Honda trademarked CBR 400R. You might be saying, Kirk, well, shoot, I mean, we have a CBR 500R and that thing's a parallel twin, and other than its looks, it's pretty bland. No. It's CBR 400R 4. We go back in time. There was a CB lineup from Honda, ranging from super sports to nakeds to in-betweeners of inline four screamers. That was the CB Super 4, which was more of the naked end, and then you had the CBR 400RR, which looked like a baby Fireblade. I mean, you could say this looks like a baby ZX10R in some ways. Could we be getting that from the Honda camp? Well, I want to entertain that thought today. I know I keep running in circles here, but what could Honda bring to the table? Well, let's look at history. The CB400 bikes with the inline 4, they had actually VTEC. So around 6,000 RPM and under, they ran on 2 valves per cylinder. And then after that, the VTEC kicked in, and it would run on 4 valves per cylinder. And I believe that's how it worked on the VFR models as well. So some of the few examples of VTEC actually existing in inline 4. Now, will Honda bring that back? Absolutely not. I think it's going to run on 4 valves per cylinder all the time. But who knows? Maybe due to emissions regs or something. But it seems costly. It seems like a system that is unnecessary. And why do you see sand on the road right now? Well, it's still aftermath of Hurricane Milton. Anyways, I don't think we're going to see VTEC if they do come. But will we see competitive horsepower? The CBR 400RR, for example, only had about 59 PS, which is only it's close to the same horsepower. Let's say 57 horsepower, something like that. This bike stock in America has about the same horsepower, but I have mine ECU tuned, so it makes about 20 horsepower more in theory
right? It's just, it actually pulls hard to redline now instead of falling off a cliff around 10 to 11,000 RPM. So now this bike, it rips, baby, to redline. Will it be a super sport? Because if you think, it's not the double R that we've had in the past, the CBR 400R, but it is going to be a super sport style. If you look at like the CBR 650R, which costs similar to this bike actually, if you look at that, it well, it has the e-clutch nowadays, which is kind of cool technology. It's kind of like a hybrid quick shifter sort of thing. If you look at that bike, yeah, it's not as nearly as race focused as the 600 double R. It's more street focused like this bike is, even though this has 2 Rs, but it's apples and oranges, right? It's a Kawasaki. I think it's going to be, ergonomics wise, it would be very similar to this. And you're going to have upright ish stance here, rider triangle, I guess you could say. Like, I think these, where these clips are right now, are super comfortable. Far more comfortable than the MT-09, where I was just like straight up hanging up here the whole time. And so like my back was just never comfortable on that bike. My butt was never comfortable on it either, even though I modified that seat. Ooh, all right. We got some twisties here. Not many, right? It's Florida. They're all fabricated if you do have twisties here. It's just like, okay, well, it's a nice neighborhood, so let's put some curvy roads in it. So, yes, it's going to be very much like this bike, the CBR 400R. Let's hope Honda can bring it to our market with, you know, around 70 horsepower or so from the factory. It doesn't have to be exactly, that's the thing. Honda bikes, is it going to have exactly the same horsepower as this bike in other markets? Around 77 horsepower, at least in theory, at the crank. I have no idea. But if it comes within competitive distance, I mean, within 5 horsepower, so I don't think anyone's going to care. As long as it sounds great, performs great. Honda can definitely put their own technology on e-clutch on it. No, this has a quick shifter, obviously, but I think Honda might be able to put its e-clutch on it and make it a fairly cheap add-on to the CBR 400R. I've heard interesting things about it because you don't even need a clutch to start off. You can just roll onto the gas, and you can override it with the clutch if you want, just like I can override this quick shifter with my clutch whenever I want to. Oh god. Jeez. Oh. Ugh. All right. So back to the competition, the CBR 400R. 4, I should say. You got to add the 4 on the end to denote that it has. I don't like being here. I don't like being in that lane where people can brake like that and pull out in front of you. So let's go ahead and get to the middle lane. Anyways, what else am I looking forward to that engine? Well, I hope it revs past 12,000 RPM. I know the CBR 650R doesn't rev that high. It still sounds good from what I hear. Ooh. Let's hope its downshifts are that good as well, and that's satisfying. But it needs to have a sky-high red line. You need the small bore 4-cylinder to scream at high RPM. So I'm hoping Honda does that. Now, Honda can also. Here's the thing with Honda, they're really good at this. They'll make an engine and then have like 18 bikes share that same engine. If you look at the 500 lineup, you have a Rebel. You have like the CB500F. I don't even know if they make that anymore, but you have the CB500X. All use the same parallel twin. You have the CBR 500R. I mean, Kawasaki, all these manufacturers are good at doing it. So would it be logical? Oh, shit. Would it be logical for Honda it'll be logical for Honda to do the same thing with that inline four. I don't know why Kawasaki hasn't done it yet. If they had a naked bike of this, oh yeah, man, oh that would be saucy with a circular headlight. But if you look at Honda in the past with their CB Super 4, that was a naked bike, kind of like a mini Hornet, right? Because you had the Hornet 600s, you also had the Hornet 1000s, which kind of it was more like a Hornet 900, right? Because it's using the detuned Fireblade engine. What if they did that? What if they put some naked bikes with a screaming inline four? It'd be so much fun. I sure hope Honda does that. I mean, look how many mini motos they have using the same 125cc single cylinder engine. I mean, they just introduced the DAX to the market, but they have a CT125 Super Cub. You've got the Super Cub, oh sorry, CT125 Hunter Cub, and then you have the Super Cub. Yeah, and then you got the Grab, and then you got the Monkey. I mean, I could keep going, but the DAX is coming finally, which is pretty cool. Let's follow this cool Sprinter van, man. Something that the Grom would absolutely love living in is a Sprinter van like that. Ooh, an Outback. This Subi has its badges blacked out. Is that like a special black edition or something? I just reviewed the new Outback, so guys, go ahead and check that out. That bad boy review out of a Subaru Outback. So yeah, I hope Honda's just not like, okay, well, you have a Super Sport Light CBR 400R to compete directly against this bike, but Honda's strengths are its versatility. So I really, really hope they come out with some naked bikes. Because see, here's the thing, I would love to have it in addition to this bike. There's no way, like, would I get rid of this for a Honda Screamer Super Sport? And the answer is absolutely not, unless it's better in every conceivable way. I just don't see, Honda's just so conservative. I just don't see them beating this bike. I see them competing with this bike, maybe making a bike that looks better, because Honda's designs on their street bikes are insane. I think if Honda comes out with a naked, I would love to have it to be a companion to this bike, because I'm finding that these, you guys know, I went from an MT-09. I'm finding that like mid to lower displacement bikes are more fun, at least for my type of riding, compared to high displacement, high output bikes. It just doesn't do it for me, as you guys have learned through my quick selling of the MT-09. The MT-09 is not even that high horsepower. It's not even that high displacement. But for me, I can't utilize it. Like, look, I can actually utilize this bike to an extent in the streets, and it is an absolute blast. The MT-09, it was never like that to me. It's just like, oh shoot, well, I have all this torque and I can't even use it ever, let alone the high end 117 horsepower, you know, when you stretch it to 11,000 RPM. Anyways, it's hard for me to make a video without bringing up the MT-09 and how I wasn't satisfied with that bike. It's a great bike, just not right for me. Also, where Honda can stick it to Kawasaki here with the CBR 400R is on price. You might be saying, Kirk, Honda doesn't make cheap stuff. But here's the thing, we know this baby Ninja here is expensive. It has no competition. So Kawasaki's just like, okay, well, we'll charge close to what the ZX6R costs, because there's a market. You know, and I think they actually, if I remember right, they kept the prices the same for the 2025 model year of this. I'm on a 24, of course. They kept the prices the same or slightly decreased the prices, because you know they're making a killing on this bike. These things don't really sit around at dealerships. High demand still for them, not that high production. But I think Kawasaki preemptively either kept the price the same or lowered the price for 25 to keep people engaged with this bike, because yeah, price of performance is a terrible bike. Which maybe I'll make a video on, like, on specifically that. Like, this is a terrible value proposition, at least when it comes to horsepower per dollar. Oh baby, that's all I need. That's all I need right there in life. I don't need to go any faster than that. It just sounds so good. It feels so good, so smooth. Screams like a demon. So if Honda can come in at a lower price point than this, oh, game on, baby. So, okay, here's the thing. I got to put up on the screen what the CB500R costs or whatever, and the CBR 650R costs. It's got to be in between there. And then I'll put on the screen what this bike costs. So it's got to be competitive to this, if not undercut it, but it's also got to make sense from their lineup, their current lineup, sports bike lineup specifically. Unless they kill off the CB500R and just stick in the 404 in there instead. God, I don't know if it's just me right now, but traffic's really slow. Traffic probably always feels slow on a sport bike or any motorcycle that's not a 125. God, I sound like a smoker. Just getting over the vids, I'm 99% sure I had that for about a solid 3-day stint. I totally missed that guy on the motorcycle wave, if he even waved at me. Oh shoot. Oh gosh, am I going to be stuck behind Mr. Diesel here? I sure hope not. Maybe I can get in front of him. I bet he's going on the interstate. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see if I can get in here. Those downshifts in the tunnel sounded great, baby. Oh man, this is so bumpy. What the frick? You know, believe it or not, I haven't stretched the legs of the Ninja post flash on the interstate yet. So here we go. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it here. Oh, finally off of that bumpy road. Stuck behind a Corolla and a Elantra. It's okay, still sounds great. Keep it in third as we merge because, gosh, we have a 300 up there, Chrysler 300. All right, let's rip. But here at 75, oh my gosh, it's so much more comfortable. Than 88. 88's it gets a bit abusive with the wind, and at 70, it's a walk in the park. It actually feels quite good. So very happy with the flash here. I have some top end power now for the interstate for passing people, and it sounds so good. Well, look are those cherry blossoms? They're gorgeous. A little bit of Japan right there, creeping its way into South Florida, it feels like. So let me know, guys, as I stop here at this stoplight, let's wrap up this video. Would you be excited for a Honda 4-cylinder competitor to this, a baby screamer that can scream to, let's say Honda doesn't get to 16,000. This doesn't get to 16. I think the red line here is like 15 something. If Honda can get well over 12,000 RPM on their CB400, I think people would be happy about that, to have more baby inline 4s out there. If Honda can come under the price point, or at least close, that's great, because we need competition. And if Honda can come out with naked models alongside, would be so much fun. It'd be so fascinating. I think that would be the route I would go, but of course it depends on the market and what you guys also say. Because if you guys are like, hey, Kirk, go ahead and get that CBR 400R so you can make a comparison videos between the two, I might do it. I'm so in love with this motorcycle that I want more of it. And if Honda can have their own flavor of a high revving 4-cylinder around 400 cc's, how fun would that be?
how it would, yeah, it kind of reminds me of how we have a revival of Japanese sports cars right now. Manual transmission, high power, little sports cars that are somewhat affordable, right? The GR Corolla, the Type R, you got the SI, you got the GR86, et cetera, et cetera. So we have affordable Japanese sports cars that kind of have a ton of nostalgia packed in. Why can't we get that with these motorcycles too?
With these small displacement engines before they're completely abandoned, right? Honda wants to be, what the, why is this, come on guys.
The road.
All right, I'm gonna shut it down there, guys. Thank you for watching. Honda, please bring out the CBR 400R and the naked counterparts. Hell yeah, it'd be so much fun. This bike deserves to have some competition. It's lonely in the baby screamer world. This bike needs some competition. It needs to have some thoroughbreds to go against. So anyways, I gotta shut down. Thank you guys for watching. Be safe out there. Ride safe, drive safe. Whatever you do, do it safe. I don't know. That's just the dad in me coming out. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Stay safe out there, and peace.